Okay, so I have a video on Nope already about spoiler free. If you don't want spoilers, I do have an ending explained. I do have a video talking about the aliens, but I want to talk about Ricky Park, the Jupe, Jupiter's claim. It's like attended and everything, because I think his story is pretty interesting and I think it's definitely worth looking into. So before we get into this, make sure you're subscribed, notification bell on. Make sure we're on the way to 25,000 subscribers. We are about to hit 23,000, which is amazing. We hit 22,000 last weekend, so hitting 23,000 this weekend would be amazing. Let's see if we can do it. But we got a couple more Nope videos coming out before we move on, because there's a lot to talk about this film. So today is Ricky Park. Let's talk about Ricky Park and what he is actually all about. So Ricky Park is a former child actor turned into an amusement park owner called Jupiter's Claim, and he pretty much had a moment in time when he was a child actor where he was a part of a very deadly attack that a chimpanzee caused on the set of one of the sitcoms he was in. The chimpanzee Gordy just snapped out of nowhere after some balloons popped, and he pretty much witnessed this thing go wreak havoc on the people of his sitcom, the cast and all. Of course, he was able to be saved because he hid under a table and his vision, his eyes were covered. And that's one of the important things about this movie is eyes and everything, looking at things and not looking at things. So I've talked about that before and we might brush over to here a bit, but let's talk about what exactly his motivations are. So I wrote a couple of notes about that. I think Ricky Park is suffering from a lot of trauma after this. To think a child witnessing all of this, thinking that he was possibly going to be next in the chimpanzee attack, you have to take into account that he is probably dealing with a lot of trauma that he has not been able to cope with. And I think this trauma is basically the reason he even created Jupiter's Claim in the first place, because if you remember correctly, before the sitcom, he had appeared as a kid sheriff. Now, Jupiter's Claim is showing a sheriff as a mascot and is sort of a western type vibe to it, and that's exactly the movie that Ricky Park was in before he was in the sitcom where the eventual attack would happen. So he's sort of going back to a place of comfort with Jupiter's Claim, and it brings him sort of a way to cope with that trauma as well. Now, in the Gordy attack, the chimpanzee did not attack Ricky and was about to almost give him a fist bump. It was cool, it was nothing's happening. I think this sort of made Ricky believe that he sort of had this power over animals, or sort of this sort of blessed feeling to him, and that's the reason he was so adamant about going over to this alien and getting its attention and using it for profit, because at the end of the day he is using the Gordy incident for profit for himself. He has a little memorabilia and everything, recounts the story, and as he told Emerald, he usually charges for this, so we know he is out here making money by doing this. And he even mentioned that a couple paid to stay over at the memorabilia place and check it out, so we know he's making some money out of all. So what is Ricky doing with the alien? Well, we know that he is using the horses as bait, and this is the reason he's been buying them from Haywood Ranch. And when OJ tells him, I think I'm going to buy these horses back, he's pretty much let's talk about something else, because these horses, of course, gone. They're gone. The alien has been eating them up because Ricky's trying to sort of tame it, but he's trying to tame it for all of the wrong reasons at the same time and not really caring to figure out what exactly is going on here. I think at the end of the day, Ricky believed that this spacecraft had some aliens in there that were going to be like the little people he had his kids dress up and the plushies he sells and all of that, but in fact didn't realize that this was just a giant monster that was just eating things up and wasn't really an alien. Or some people theorize he could have known all of this, but is still selling the idea that it's a spacecraft of sorts, even though he knows that it's just a monster that devours everything. It's more cooler to sell some little alien plushies than some gray giant thing that just looks like a flying saucer, right? So I thought that that was a very interesting way of looking at Ricky's character. Is everything he's doing is based off of that initial trauma, and he's just trying to profit as much as he can from it, and has some sort of feeling of empowerment over it, because he felt he was sort of the one who got OJ to stop and all of this, I think, and he's trying to be the one that says, hey, I was the first one to find an alien, lure them out, and give y'all a show about it. I need some chops, some praise for that, right? So I think in the end we realized that you can't tame nature. Ricky Park of course suffered the consequences of that as he was devoured by the monster, and pretty much he wanted that spectacle no matter what it took, even if it meant that he was going to get eaten by it. And we definitely see that. So in the end, Ricky went full spectacle as much as he could because of the profits, but died for it as well. So anyways, that's my thoughts, my opinions on Ricky Park. Like, I think he is somebody who is a broken person after that attack. I feel like he might have not gotten enough therapy or whatever it needed to take for him to get over that. And I think this is the reason we see him be the person he is today. He wants control. In that situation with Gordy and the cast, he felt like he didn't have any control. Everything was lost and he pretty much felt helpless. I think he never wants to feel like that again, and that's the reason we see that he goes on about the way he does in Jupiter's Claim, with feeling like this top showman of sorts that's gonna be fearless and do whatever it takes. But at the end of the day, he's just somebody who's looking for validation from everybody around him to say, Ricky, he can do it. He's strong. He's able to have control over the situation, and he's like your go-to guy for it all. And that's what I think he was trying to show during that alien show, that he was fearless, that he was able to control anything, even this being from outer space that we don't even know anything about. But of course he wasn't able to, and he suffered the consequences for it. So very interesting stuff, right? We're going to talk more about the movie for sure. We got some more videos planned for you. San Diego Comic-Con is this weekend, so we're going to shift our focus to that for the weekend. But next week we got some more Nope videos coming out for you, so make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to know when the videos drop. Let me know what you think about Ricky Park. What do you think more about him that I probably didn't talk about? We'll talk about the Gordy attack as well, so stay tuned for that, because I know y'all want to talk about Gordy in the shoot, but we will. So just stay tuned for that video pretty soon. But as always, that's going to do it for me. We'll probably do a live video tonight. We did a live show last night talking about Nope. We'll do it again tonight as more people get to see it today, and it'll be fun. I'll put a link or something later, so stay tuned. As always, that is going to do it for me. On the road to 25,000 subscribers, less than 500 away to get to 23,000. Can we do it this weekend? That would be insane if we do, but fingers crossed. As always, I'll see y'all next time. Stay safe, stay positive. Also, let us know what are you most excited to hear from either panel from DC or Marvel. We'll probably do a live show in the morning tomorrow, just getting ready, talking about what could happen, what could not, because I like the live show idea of this. So we'll definitely do a live show talking about those ideas in the morning. I'll set up a date and time so we know when that is. So stay tuned for that for sure.